So today it is August 18th and it's about 10 a.m. I'm going to be starting to plant my fall crops. This is going to be my first time ever doing this. Today I'm going to start planting spinach, broccoli, another kind of spinach, another kind of spinach, another breed of it, and some carrots. The reason that I have so many different kinds of spinach is because I have my original spinach that I planted in the springtime, and those ones did really, really good. But we love spinach so much that I wanted to plant more. And these two kinds of spinach, one of them's ready in 28 days and one of them's ready in 45 days. I figured that would be the best option to have spinach all fall. These ones will be ready sooner than these, so that will guarantee that we have a continual crop of spinach. So I know it can be kind of confusing to know what to plant based off of where you live and you not know if it'll grow right, just like my onions didn't grow this year. How you figure that out is you Google garden zoning and your location. I Googled Kansas City garden zoning. It came up with telling me that I was zone 6. It's the easiest way to go about it. I can post a link on the bottom of the page to the website that I used that gave me a zoning. And on that website as well, it gave me a graph of what I can grow and when I should plant it, and whether you plant it in the ground or you're transplanting, and what's that word? And when you should harvest. So I could have started these earlier and put them in, an egg carton or small little starters. But rather than doing that, I'm just gonna put them right into the ground and see how they do, because it's only mid-August, so we should be fine. So this is the first bed that I'm going to be planting into. At the end, there's your cucumber, and then what I had put in here originally was onion plants. They didn't do too well. As you can see, I had put the hay on there because they said birds like to pick onions out of the ground. But see, for example, see, nothing really, that was an onion and nothing came out of it. So I'm just gonna go through now and pick out the onions that I can still see that I had planted there, and then begin planting a new crop. And I'm gonna take the hay off and then also turn the soil just to make sure that it's all ready for this new crop. And as you can see, there's some divots in it, and that was because my dog got in here before we had put up this fencing. So yeah, maybe that's why the onions didn't grow either. I don't really know. So as you can see, I couldn't get all the way back there because of this chicken wire holding up the rest of my cucumbers, which is totally okay because I'll just wait a little bit longer, but at least this will get me started. This is thankfully new soil that I'd put in just this year, and it was a lot of store-bought and compost and things like that. So this soil is already really fresh and light and ready to be planted in. All right, so now the fun part begins. I'm gonna start planting the seeds, and if you notice on the back of these seed packets, it tells you exactly how far away to plant them from each other. As you can see, seed spacing and then row spacing, so how deep to put the seed into the ground. And then it tells you obviously how many days it is till harvest. What carrot seed looks like. They're very, very tiny. I may plant, I think, 2 seeds per hole and then see which one is stronger and then thin it out from there. So I'm just completing these other rows I just did. And when I spoke about thinning, as these start to grow, I will explain how to do that and what that is. It was definitely hard to only get 2 seeds in there, so I probably put 3 to 4 in each one, which is totally fine. But there is so many seeds left over. I will be doing another crop as these start to grow. I'm now gonna go ahead and give these plants, new carrots, a good watering. And on the back of the packet, it says make sure that you keep the soil nice and moist and don't let it crust. A lot easier to keep it moist with this good, fresh soil. Just make sure you give it a really good watering every day. And there the dogs go. Rocky, don't even think about it. Next area I'm going to begin growing a new fall crop is right here. There were 2 zucchini plants here, but they are done for the season. And rather than start another one, I'm just gonna get going on my fall crops because we love spinach and so do our friends. This is our mulch garden and we're gonna be doing a lot more greens over in this area this fall. We wanna start selling crops to farmers markets and more to our friends because they are loving everything that we get from our garden. Thankfully, this garden has given us a pretty good yield, but we wanna have it be even bigger. So I'm gonna make sure that I get rid of all of these dead leaves that were all zucchini leaves because if the zucchini did carry any disease, I don't want to put that into the ground and then cause my other plants to get diseases. So I'm going to make sure I'm really careful about picking up all those leaves as I turn over the soil and get it ready. I'm probably going to do broccoli and spinach in this area. I'll use this as my halfway point, and that'll be where I know my separation. So this side will be broccoli and this side will be spinach. As I'm turning the soil, I'm realizing that my tomato plants that are really, really close, their roots are coming out kind of far. So I gotta be careful about not ripping up too many of those roots and killing the plants prematurely. That's also something now that I'm learning. Just be careful not to kill your plants that are producing while you're trying to produce new plants. Luckily, broccoli and spinach are shallow rooted plants, so I don't actually have to dig too far into the ground to get the soil turned for those plants specifically. So my soil is all ready now and I'm gonna start planting. So here's the back of the broccoli seed packet. It doesn't give as much information as the carrot one did, but that's simply because it's a different brand. But this one, it says the depth is 1/4 inch, thin it at 16 inches, and if you're doing containers, 1 plant per 12-inch container. I'm probably gonna make them about 4 inches apart and then thin them as I go along. This is what broccoli seeds look like, and I'm probably gonna do 2 per little circle planting area. Spinach you can plant a lot closer, so I do spinach in rows, and that works successfully with me. I plant spinach in rows, and that was I plant spinach in rows, and that was really successful for me this spring. These are your spinach seeds, and they're a lot larger than the other 2 I've done, which makes it easier to plant them. Now I'm just covering up the seeds lightly. You don't want to have a lot of soil on top of your seeds because they can't reach the sunlight as they start sprouting. So you want to have really shallow seedlings but with a light amount of soil on top. So I'm just going to cover them up and then I will water them all. Gardening ruins a nice manicure. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something, and as I go along with this new fall crop, I'll keep you guys updated, show you pictures, videos of how the crops are growing and if they're successful or not. So if you like this video, subscribe, like, and hit the bell.